Good morning, everyone. Good morning, fellow traders. It is Friday, January 4th, quarter to 6 a.m. Pacific time. I am Jonathan van Clute with Stock Navigators, here to give you a morning market analysis, see what the markets may have for us today. Now, before I do, of course, as always, reminding you to please do like, comment, and subscribe. If you will happen to be on the live stream chat, say hello. Let me know you're there. Also, if you come into the Discord room, please let me know you're there as well. And I will be in the Discord room all day. So drop by and say hello if you have a few minutes. Would love to hear from you. So with that, let's jump into starting with the S&P 500 as we always do. So continuing what I've been talking about previous days, market is clearly in a downtrend right now. We are below the 21 EMA and establishing that pattern of lower lows, lower highs, and so far maintaining it. Now, we had this sharp rally off the lows, the recent lows, and it's easy to think that, oh, all of a sudden that means we're back into a bull market. But the fact is that we're in a high volatility environment. So the upsides are going to be wild, just like the downsides. So right now, anyway, we seem to be just in that continuing pattern of lower lows and lower highs. So that's what we're watching to see develop here on the daily chart. Right now, what's it going to do? Is this going to be, say, a first higher low, and then we break? Actually, let me get my pen here. Is this going to be a first higher low, and then we break this high to establish a new uptrend starting, and then get over the 21 EMA and up through this sell zone, etc.? Or is this simply the rally in the downtrend, and now we're set to break and make a new low and take this one out? Those are the two scenarios that we are looking to play out on the daily chart. Right now, bears are in control. Navigators clearly very red. It is trending upwards at the moment, but I mean, we just had this little rally, so that's to be expected. This is all very, very normal behavior. Right now, just watch closely to see which way it wants to go. Oh, do we get a break of the bottom of the box to signify some continued downside momentum? Do we get a push up, as I was saying, above these highs here and eventually up past the 21 EMA to establish a new upwards direction here? But in both cases, we're kind of sandwiched between a buy zone and a sell zone. So in both cases, there is some significant overhead resistance to have to get past. Now, the sell zone up overhead technically has already been breached. It was breached here. So you could make the argument that maybe that zone is a little bit weaker and that there is maybe an easier path to the upside. But the fact is, the bottom line is that until the price shows us what's going on, we can think whatever we want, we can theorize whatever we want, but the price knows everything, and the price is the bottom line. That's where everything stops with price. So watch the price action. That's what we're going to be looking for. Is do we come down into the buy zone? And if we do come down into the buy zone, do we double bottom and come back up? Or does it just plain take this level out? Either way, those are the things you're looking for. You're looking for a break of this or a break of this. Those are the two most significant things to watch for in a daily. Now, on a shorter time frame, on an intraday 60-minute, it's going to be a little bit easier to see what's going on. You can see right now, price, we're over here. We are right now above the 21 EMA. It has hooked up. So right this second on a shorter term, there's a little bit of an upward bias. Navigator has just gotten over the zero line, but there's nothing really tremendous. We do, however, have a pattern. We have the low, we have a high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high. Can't really see that on top of the one. We have higher high, etc. So right this moment, we are in a pattern of higher highs and higher lows on the 60-minute time frame. So on a shorter term anyway, the bulls are in control at the moment. I don't know if they are really drastically in control, and it doesn't look overly strong to me, given the kind of navigator readings we have here, and that it has not been able to get over this area here, this big sell zone here. But that is what price is going to want to be testing: is this sell zone overhead or this buy zone down below. Those are the two areas that we're watching right now. We're just sandwiched between them. So ideally, I would like to see price get up into one of these two areas in order to signify what I might want to do as a trade. So right now, since it is the closer zone, I am going to be watching for price to maybe get up and test into this sell zone here and watch for any kind of signs of a failure, in which case a short position could be taken. Obviously, if it can get over these highs here, take them out, get through this sell zone, then we are looking for some upside follow through to test somewhere around this area here. So watch for that. But again, much like the daily here on the 60, we're sandwiched between two zones, and we just need to see which direction is it going to want to go. Right now, if I zoom in a little bit so you can see it better, come on, there we go. Right now, we've had a new box come out fairly recently, so potentially be watching for break of the box to the upside or the downside to signify what it wants to do. Now, overnight, starting with the Asian session pushed it up. Asian markets pushed up. European markets came in. They pushed up further. So I would not be at all surprised to see a pullback to recapture some of those profits that the American traders got handed to them overnight, courtesy of our Asian and European trader friends. So the open is always that unpredictable time. So just be careful as always, and maybe give it a half hour to an hour before you decide to do anything. Let the market settle down and figure out what it wants to do, and then just trade accordingly and watch for break of the high of the box and a push into the sell zone, or a break of the low of the box and so below of that box, and then a test of maybe these lows down here. But right this instant, Navigator is green. Bulls are moderately in control. We did come down and touch the 21 EMA and then bounce right off of it. So right now, EMA holding as support. All right, let's take a look at crude oil. Now, crude is continuing to bounce off of that buy zone after this tremendous move down. It has hopped up over the descending trend line, but it is getting kind of stopped by the 21 EMA on the daily. Also, there's the top of the box there as well. So it's got a couple of pivotal things to have to hop over here to signify a continuation of this bullish move. But so far, we do have the absolute low. We have our first high here and then a first higher low here. So it does look as if an uptrend has formed and is working its way into something a little bit longer term. Navigator also was divergent and is pushing to the upside. There's still a fair distance to go before it gets to that zero line. But right now, Navigator is trending upwards. It's making higher lows, and so is price. So that's what we're watching for, is price to make a continuation of that. If it can get up over this box, for example, that will be a good sign that there is upwards continuation. The next area that it's going to probably get kind of stuck in, though, is just right here, this whole congestion area here. So watch for price to possibly get up there and then maybe stall, maybe pull back a little bit, or at least go sideways for a bit. On the 60-minute, we are seeing higher highs, higher lows. We have a higher high here, and it would be reasonable now for it to pull back and make a higher low and possibly pull back to this rising trend line here. Let me actually zoom out a little bit. You can see it a little bit more completely. Oops. There we go. So we've got higher highs and higher lows happening. They're not the cleanest higher highs and higher lows in the middle. I mean, in the world, rather. You can see we got kind of stuck in the middle here and consolidated around for a bit. We did break this high here, but then immediately pulled right back down into it, tried it again, and immediately pulled back into it. And then finally, the third time was the charm and broke it, and we've now held up there. So it does look that an uptrend is intact. We do have getting into overbought conditions, not too serious yet, but we are up at over 31, and over 40 or so is usually considered to be overbought on the Navigator. So just beware of that. But at a minimum, at least we have gotten over this descending trend line that was here, and now we are riding the ascending trend line here. So watch for pullbacks to ideally the trend line, but at a minimum, maybe the 21 EMA or something like that. And then see if you want to initiate a long if price gives you some confirmation that the upside move wants to continue. So right this moment anyway, we are looking at an uptrend in the early stages of forming, I would say. All right, gold has, in fact, as I mentioned the other day, hopped over this line here, which let me make the numbers a little bit bigger here. There we go. So it did hop over this kind of resistance line from back here, and has held up there. It has pulled back. I kind of expect, let me zoom in a little. I would expect to see price want to test this as support. So I'm not at all surprised to see this pull back. I would like to see it pull back, test as support, maybe even test this trend line as support, the top of the channel. Since it broke through the channel, it's good to see it come back, test that channel, hold it, and then head higher. So if gold is going to head higher, that is the kind of behavior I'd like to see. Now, Navigator is strongly up, but we are getting a little bit high. 30, almost 34 right now. Again, 40 or higher is generally considered to be overbought. We did see a little bit of magenta back here as well. Didn't really have a whole lot of impact. Price didn't really slow down much. So we are kind of due for it to cool off a little bit, consolidate some, a little bit of a pullback or something like that, which I think lends itself perfectly to the idea of testing this rising trend line. So that's what I'd be watching for, is a test of somewhere in these levels. 60-minute, pretty clear, higher highs and higher lows. So we definitely have an uptrend going on the 60, but right now we are kind of testing the bottom of that uptrend, and the Navigator has pulled back sharply, but it keeps pulling back and not getting to the zero line. You can see it doesn't get as low as the zero line. So if we see that pattern continue, maybe it comes back down, comes to the zero line or so, and then can head higher and basically have plenty of room to go back up into the upper 30s or something like that. So there's a good indication that we could see some bullish follow through to the upside in gold, but probably due for that pullback first, as I mentioned over here. So watch for that before taking any action. Right now on the 60, price has gotten below the box and is continuing the move that was below the previous box. So right this moment anyway, it does look that a downtrend is in process. You can see the 21 EMA has hooked around, is heading downwards, and I would expect to see a retest of maybe possibly even this buy zone down here, which does take us pretty much right around to about the level or so of that rising trend line. So that is what I would be looking for. All right, natural gas. Take a quick peek at that market. It has come up off of this sharp low, gapped down, headed a little bit lower, and now has kind of bounced back up again. There is a whole sort of support area, support zone down here. Pretty much this whole area here is all just support. So not surprised to see it bounce there. It's not really the cleanest buy zone in the world, but it's essentially a big buy zone. It was just a long period of consolidation, buying, whatever in here before it just went completely crazy with the storms that we had in the last couple months or so. So right now, anyhow, we have a new box that has come out on the daily. Let me zoom in a little bit. So a new box has come out in the daily, and we want to watch for something to happen with those levels. Either it takes out these lows down here and heads lower, or it works its way up towards the top of the box, takes that out, and starts establishing higher highs and higher lows. Right this moment, though, no question, the trend is down. 21 EMA is pointing downwards. So at the moment, we still have lower lows and lower highs. So it's got to break down past all this level here that I just outlined a moment ago in order to really establish a further downtrend. The Navigator, however, is down minus 22 or so. It's got a fair amount of distance. It could still go lower. So Navigator is nowhere near oversold yet. We've got a fair amount of room to run on that. So watch out for a move downwards to take out these lows, or a move upwards that takes out the box high, and then watch for probably the 21 EMA, and possibly for this gap to fill as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen at all. On a 60, it's the same thing, just on in more detail. Right this moment, the Navigator is actually up. It crossed the zero line quite strongly overnight, and is trying to establish a new pattern of higher highs and higher lows. It did come right up and sort of double top at that level there. So it has not taken out that level, but it got right to it. But maybe it did come down and bounce off this 21 EMA. If it can hold there, head higher, and get through this sell zone, then there is room for it to head up and kind of test this area here and possibly even fill that gap. That is what, from a bullish standpoint, I would like to see. And right now, it is heading bullish. 21 EMA has curved around and hooked upwards. So on a 60-minute basis, we are trying to form an uptrend, but it really needs to hold and get through this sell zone here in order to establish that. We've also got the low down here to watch out for. So if it takes that out, then there's the highest probability is continuation to the downside. So watch out for that. But right now, anyway, the bias is to the bulls. Navigator was trending up, 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 up very strongly this whole time, even while price was just kind of drifting sideways to down. And that was a pretty good indication that something was going to change and that we were going to end up popping upwards. So right now, that looks to be following through. Just got to keep an eye on price and watch for it to get through these key levels. And lastly, let's wind up with crypto. Bitcoin. It's kind of just been consolidating sideways right now. Just kind of wait and see action. We were not able to get over these highs here. But if this is a first higher low off this downtrend, then we need to take this out, and then we could take this out, and we could establish a new pattern of higher highs and higher lows. So first indication would be the top of the box. So watch for a break of the top of the box on the 60, or on the daily rather. On the 60, we've got a, oops, let me zoom out, see it a little better. There we go. So on the 60, we are in higher highs and higher lows. But as you can see with more detail here, right now, it's just kind of chopping around. It's not really continuing to trend. We had this nice move upwards, and we had a higher low, and we had a higher high, and then it just kind of went, fell apart. It didn't really fall apart exactly, but it did take that out again, negating that higher low. So now we have the absolute low, the higher high, and the higher low. That is where our significant swing points are right now on the 60. So it's just kind of going sideways right now. But in that, there is certainly opportunity. If you are into day trading crypto, you've got your box levels here. It really is what to watch for. Watch for a break of the top of the box, break of the bottom of the box, and also if to the upside, watch for that 21 EMA. So you really want to see a break of the top of the box and a break of that 21 EMA and hold. Because as you can see here, it broke the top of the box, but above the 21 EMA, nope. Above, no. Above, no. And above, no. And so the 21 EMA is really doing a good job of acting as resistance right now. So price really needs to get up over that and hold. Otherwise, watch for it to take out this low here, in which case it's probably going to head lower and test the next major low down here. So right this moment, anyway, Navigator is still red. It is trending slightly upwards, but that doesn't really excite me a whole lot. It's a pretty modest thing. But right now we're only at about minus 12. So there is certainly plenty of room to the downside for this to head lower. So again, just watch for those lows there. Or watch for the 21 EMA, or essentially for a takeout of these highs here. And then it could potentially maybe challenge this area and certainly this area here. All right, well, that is Bitcoin for you. And that pretty much rounds out the market analysis for this morning. One last quick look at the S&P. Price is just continuing to drift down a little bit. Nothing really exciting going on. But we just need to wait for the opening bell. So we got 26 minutes to the opening bell. I'm going to go and get ready for my trading day. And as always, please do subscribe, give us a like, give us comments, let us know what you like, what you want to see more of, what else we can do for you, how else we can help your trading. All right, that's it for me. I hope everybody has a great day of trading. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will be back again on Monday morning, and we'll do this all over again. All right, take care, everybody. Good trading. Bye-bye.